it is unbelievable. Like when I listen to President Biden over the past few days, all I hear is I, me, 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 me. I did it. My team's been working. I did this. I've been negotiating. Here's just a sample, but we could have had 4 other examples in this one soundbite. Take a listen to SOT 2.
Under a deal reached by extensive U.S. diplomacy, including numerous calls I've made from the Oval Office. Today has been a product of a lot of hard work and weeks of personal engagement. I, along with my team, have worked around the clock to secure the release. I've consistently pressed for a pause in the fighting for 2 reasons: to accelerate and expand humanitarian assistance going into Gaza, and 2, to facilitate the release of hostages.
What's he doing? What U.S. president, what commander-in-chief, upon the release of some hostages, just one American, gets out there and uses I, me over and over? No U.S. president does that. They talk about we and our allies. He's making it political, is what he's doing.
Yeah, he does, because he's afraid of, I guess, 250,000 voters in Michigan. But what gets me about it is that he mentions Hamas almost in neutral terms. He expresses empathy with the hostages, but never does he ever elaborate that there's one side who's taking captives and the other side isn't. And there's one side that are giving, that have to give over 3 convicted terrorists for every hostages they get back, and that this is a complete violation of war. It's just barbarous, but he talks about it in these neutral terms, and so does the UN, so does Europe. And so, I mean, the Irish president said that one of the Irish captives was lost and then found. So nobody ever really says this is horrific, that it's not a nation state. It's not a legitimate government. It's a bunch of terrorists that take little kids hostages and murder their parents. And that's what's lost in all of this. And then when he brags about the pauses, what he should say is this is a very difficult situation where there's no good solution, because the IDF will now lose more soldiers and Israel will be less secure because they're being hijacked by this terrorist group because they value life more than Hamas values death, I suppose. But there's something wrong about the whole thing. Everybody has lost sight of what Hamas is doing and who they are.
Right. I mean, there's, these celebratory headlines, and we'll talk about the media in a second, but these celebratory headlines, all I can feel is horror as we get more details on the individuals who were taken hostage by Hamas. My notes on my packet that my team puts together to me are hostages so old, and then the next page reads, and so young. And I just wrote down some of the ages, 85, 77, 76, 79, 78, 84. Then the youth, 4, 5, 8, 2, 10, 4, 8, 9, 9, 11, 13, 3. I could go on. These are little kids. They're babies. A 2-year-old is a baby. So is a 3-year-old. And the elderly, Victor, my mom is 82. My mom, there's an 85-year-old and 84-year-old. My mom uses a walker. She has real difficulty getting around. She has medications she needs to take. I think about these women in their mid 80s or late 70s, to put them through this kind of horror. And then, yes, of course, we're glad that they've been released. But it's like the media is ready to move on from the horror that these women were put through.
Well, get this feeling, I don't know if it's hyper dramatic or what, but you almost get the feeling you're living in maybe 1933 or 1934 in Germany, when you're starting to see something transpire that's growing every day. When you look at the United Nations, you see that Iran is the head of the Human Rights Forum, and that the Secretary General, as soon as he heard about October 7th, he said that you can't understand the murdering without listening to evaluating the context. And you look at what Europeans are saying, you look at what's happening at our universities, and you look at our own government. Jean-Pierre, until she tried to correct herself and say she didn't hear it, basically said there was no anti-Semitism they knew of, that the problem was Islamophobia. And I think it was the 3rd day after October 7th, Anthony Blinken and the Turkish foreign minister of all people were calling for a ceasefire. And this thing is just accelerating. It's like a snowball. And it's scary because no one is saying these people are SS murderers and they're a death cult and they're killing innocent people and they take hostages and they decapitate and they mutilate and they do every incomprehensible pre-civilizational act and they're abhorrent. And we don't hear that at all from anybody.
No, what we're hearing is still from the president, there has to be a two-state solution. And I don't know if you saw it, Victor, over the weekend, but Hamas captured 2 Palestinians who were believed to be cooperating with the Israelis, beat them in front of a cheering crowd, shot them, and then hanged them from an electrical tower, cheering, yeah! This is the kind of stuff we know from people like Yeonmi Park happens in North Korea. So this is what Hamas is doing. And I guess Israel and we, as their ally, are supposed to talk to these. We're just going to sit down and chat with these folks who would take 2-year-olds and 85-year-olds and string up their own people by electrical wires and talk about how we can all live in peace in a two-state solution now?
What is really the worst thing about it is that when you look at the people who are cheering this on or making excuses or contextualizing it, they're university faculty, administrators, politicians, head of states, media people, but they're not it goes on at Stanford and Harvard and Yale and Princeton. It doesn't go on at trade schools. It doesn't go on at communities, colleges. I live in a very impoverished area, 95% Hispanic, working class people. They understand what's going on. This is a sickness, an illness among our elite. And the more, it's really sad because we all believe in the Enlightenment, but as a general rule, the more education someone has, the more morally bankrupt they are on the Middle East. And I don't know how to communicate with people. In this administration, it's either, as you say, narcissistic, or all it talks about is what it has done to restrain the IDF from trying to create an atmosphere where they won't do this every single month, as the Hamas leader in Lebanon promised that he would do, that this is going to go on and on and on and on. And when you have the first news of it, and the head of the UN says that this murdering has context, i.e. it's justified, where do you turn for sanity? The president of Harvard, the UN, the president of the United States, the press secretary of the White House? No, it's all madness.
It's the Christmas and holiday season, everyone. Time for gift giving, parties with friends and family, and getting compliments everywhere you go. Looking years younger thanks to Genucel. From now through Christmas, Genucel's most popular package is more than 70% off at Genucel.com. Treat yourself and a loved one to the absolute best skincare in the world. See those troubling forehead wrinkles, fine lines, skin redness, pesky bags and puffiness, and even a sagging jawline disappear with Genucel's most popular collection. And with its immediate effects product, see results in less than 12 hours, guaranteed, or you get your money back. Plus, included in every most popular package is a free hyaluronic acid serum for skin hydration that will restore your youthful appearance. Go to Genucel.com/MK60 now. Enter my special promo code MK60 for an additional 10% off your entire order. Every order today instantly upgraded to free express shipping. Genucel.com/MK60. That's GENUCEL.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.